Hi, I'm Paul Darley, and thanks for tuning into our November issue of Inside Darley. Coming to you here on Tuesday, November 3rd, Election Day, of course. And boy, I'll tell you, I think we're all ready for these elections to be over with. And hopefully we as a country can coalesce regardless of who are elected as our country's leaders. But, for those of you in the fire service, you'll probably take a lot of interest in our third quarter results came out from FAMA on new fire truck orders during the last quarter. That's the third quarter of 2020. And they were exactly 25% under the third quarter of 2019. And that's exactly the same decrease that we saw in the second quarter. So very interesting to see, and about probably where most people anticipated. One of the areas as you look at is we are seeing the number of large orders is down pretty significantly, an indication that perhaps major cities who are really being hit by the COVID crisis for all sorts of reasons, are really leading that decrease, and maybe we're not seeing it quite as much hitting the suburban areas and the volunteer departments. But some interesting information there. And we've actually attached for our pump customers, if you can go to this link here, or the cover letter here, there's a link to take our 2020 pump customer survey. If you have time, we'd love to have you take that. We've got a gift coming your way if you fill that out. As you're trying to figure out where this is all going, the next three articles that we've attached for you here, the first two are from McKinsey, who we've been working really closely with during this period. And one talks about agility. One's called 2 Traits for Successfully Managing Through the COVID Crisis. And the first one talks about the importance of agility and curiosity. The second article is actually an article titled "The Journey to Agile," and lastly is a interesting publication that just came out with success strategies for dealing with the age of COVID. So I think you'll find that of interest. As you're probably aware, next Wednesday, November 11th, is Veterans Day. It has a real important purpose here at Darley in light of our defense business, which really goes back to World War II. But today is almost 80% of our business. We'll sell over $500 million or $500 million to our defense customers in 2020 alone, and it's certainly a very aggressive part of our business. And roughly 1/3 of our employees today are veterans, so we thank them for their service. And I'll tell you, there's so much we can learn from all veterans as well as our active military today. And as we look at, if you're interested in selling more and more to the government, if you're a distributor or whatever, you might take interest in this fifth article, which is attached on it's put out by NDIA, which is a National Defense Industry Association. I serve on the Great Lakes chapter board, but it's titled "Selling to the Federal Government," and gives you some tips there. We've also attached for you our Darley Defense Capabilities brochure, which talks to some of the products that we are offering to our military customers. If you haven't looked at Darley lately, you might be surprised by some of our offerings here. I think we as businesses and fire chiefs and just about anybody can learn from our incredible military leaders, and it's really the focus of today. And with that in mind, as we headed into COVID, we said we're really going to focus on shoring up our inside. And one of the areas that we've done that from an organizational standpoint is to bring on General Bernie Banks to lead our team in leadership development for our employees. So we've just engaged him for a 12-month program. He taught at West Point, where I got to know him, taught leadership at West Point. He's currently teaching leadership and diversity at Northwestern's Kellogg School of Management. Just an incredible guy. We're excited to have him on our board and excited to learn from him. And also if you get the Harvard Business Review, or even if you don't, I'd encourage you to Google their November issue. Unfortunately, we can't share those articles with you due to restrictions, but there's 2 great articles on how to develop your own leadership style and reinventing the leadership selection process, which talks about West Point and some of the leadership areas that the Army is taking to develop new leaders. And I'll tell you, we've also flooded this attachment here with 6 other articles from military leaders that, from the Secretary of Defense to, a task force report on where the United States Department of Defense is going in 2021, a CEO article, CEO Magazine article on mitigating risks in challenging environments, and that's by learning from our military, and some other things on balance relative from the Army Chief of Staff, who talks about the importance of work-life balance. And Dwight D. Eisenhower was actually called the Balancer-in-Chief. We've got an article from him too, as well as the Stockdale Paradox. So hey, thanks for tuning into this issue of Inside Darley. If there's anything we can be doing to support you, we hope you'll reach out to us.